יגל, זה מכוניות משטובות, זה רכבים שהם גנבו לנו לכל עם ישראל, זה לא מספיק, אבל פה בכפר חווארה איפה שנהרגת בוערת עכשיו אש, כי עם ישראל חי, ואנחנו נקום את הנקמה שלך.
Well, the time is just gone 8:42 a.m. and that horrific video clip that we've seen with that building burning, and once again the brutality of this Zionist entity, this illegal occupier of the land of Al-Quds, once again manifesting itself. 11 people that have been brutally killed, murdered by this Zionist entity in Nablus. And we are now joined by Rana Shubair, who is a Gaza-based activist and author and a mother, to tell us more. Sister Rana, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome and jazakallah khairan so much for your time.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me.
Yes, once again, we've just seen that video clip. We've seen that image of that building burning. 11 people that were killed by the illegal occupier, by the Israeli forces in Nablus. And what do we know? What do we know about this raid that they say they carried out?
Yeah, so on Wednesday, February 22nd, around 10 a.m. in the morning, the Israeli army invaded Nablus. They did this through infiltrating the city by a special operations unit where their soldiers were disguised in women's clothing, hijab clothing, and their target was two of the resistant fighters of the Lion's Den. So around 12:30, they attacked the house and they killed these two men. But alongside with that, they just went on a killing spree in the city and started shooting and firing everyone, which resulted in the end in killing 10 people, including two elderly men. So this is what happened on Wednesday morning.
Yes, and it's not only about the 11 people that were killed. We've learned that 102 people were also injured, Sister Rana.
Yes, there was also, yes, like as you've mentioned, because I come from Gaza, but we've seen this also happen here when they attack so-called military target. There's collateral damage, and the other people who get killed or injured are the collateral damage. So 102 people, either suffocated by tear gas, which was also had pepper spray in it, and by live ammunition. And these are the weapons that they use in, even in facing civil protests. And we witnessed this in Gaza when during the Great Return March, we were attacked by one of the weapons was the gas canisters drone, which was a drone which actually shoots gas canisters at the people, and people got killed from these canisters. So it was a deadly, in Nablus, it must have been a deadly scene, because also the houses are close to each other, the neighborhoods are small. So they meant not only to take out the two men, the two resistant fighters, but also to cause havoc and damage all over the city.
Yes, and also this resistance, we're talking about the Lion's Den, we're talking about the Jenin Brigade as well. But, this resistance is absolutely necessary. And I'm sure even in Gaza, Hamas has been watching these developments in the West Bank. And I'm sure, that there is a huge concern in Gaza as to what is happening in the West Bank.
Of course. I mean, Israel from the beginning has tried to fragment the Palestinian society. So we have 1948 Palestinians living in occupied Palestine. We have Palestinians living in the West Bank. In they're living in small cages. I mean, cities in the West Bank are isolated from each other by the apartheid wall and by military checkpoints. And in Gaza, of course, we have the siege. So they meant to isolate us physically by this status quo. But if you look back at 2021 in May, when the Israeli settlers and soldiers, they stormed into Al-Aqsa and they were harassing the worshippers daily. The people all over Palestine stood up and protested, and they faced the occupier because they wanted to send a clear message that Palestine is one and whole, and you cannot fragment us. If you desecrate our holy mosque, all of Palestine will revolt. So that's why the resistance here in Gaza sends messages to the Israeli occupation that we will not stand silently as you kill our brothers in other places of Palestine.
Well, definitely. And also this is just, pure brutality. This is brutal murder, because we've even heard of people actually running away, people not even confronting this Zionist security forces, running away, and they're still being shot.
Yes, I mean, and like you mentioned at the beginning, over 100 people were injured, and this included women and children who were just running for their lives. And I was just reading about scenes from the hospital where people, were watching, they saw the injured come in, and they said that it was a bloodbath. And they were just civilians, but this is the mentality of the genocidal, racist apartheid regime, which is just to kill. They lavish in killing and Palestinians. I mean, look, today is February 27th, and since people celebrated this new year, 61 Palestinians have been killed. So this is like an average of one a day. And this includes 13 children and women and elderly people and the doctor. I mean, some people were just shot at point blank, range. So this shows us that the Israelis do not just target a resistance fighter or a military target. They don't care if other people get killed. And, like in May 2021, this happened in my neighborhood where I live. My neighborhood, which is located to the south of Gaza City, was pounded in the middle of the night. And in just a few strikes, in few minutes, 42 people were killed from my neighborhood. They were all civilians just sleeping in their homes. So they justify this by, having a so-called military target. But this is not their aim of their... They aim to kill, and it doesn't matter if these civilians get killed as well.
Yes. Now, we've seen the Palestinian, we've seen Mahmoud Abbas, the president, saying that they condemn the attacks and calling on this racist regime to end the attacks. Now, this seems to be the only response coming through from the Palestinian Authority, just condemnation, and also at the same time looking at very little that has come out from the Arab and the Muslim world, because this is a genocide of the highest order.
When we look at the Palestinian Authority, it is complicit in the Israeli occupation crimes. I mean, Nablus should be under Palestinian Authority control, and Jenin as well, but the Israeli forces just come and go at their will. Nobody stops them. No Palestinian soldiers protect the city. And it's not only that, they clearly announced that they collaborate with the Israeli occupation to give them information about people, about resistance fighters. So I think they are complicit in crimes of the highest order and killing their own people. What is the condemnation to us? We want them to take action. We want them to protect their own people. I think if it weren't for this Palestinian Authority collusion with the Israeli occupation, the resistance in the West Bank would be in a much better place now, because they are constantly suppressing these fighters and handing them over to the Israeli occupation. So there are two forces working against us: the Palestinian people working against its own people, and the Israeli occupation. And this has been going on for over a decade, and it's very disappointing, and it's very treacherous. So that's why people, like young men like the Lion's Den, have taken it up on themselves to just, rise up and protect their people, revolt against this genocidal regime, because they can't. I mean, if you look at these people, I mean, look at Ibrahim Nablus. He was only 18 years old. They're barely in their 20s. They're still so young and full of life. And the relatives say that these people loved life. But what is life without dignity? What is life under oppression? What is life under daily harassments and seeing your loved ones get killed and harassed every day? So I guess we are on our own. We don't rely on Palestinian Authority or other countries because we have seen nothing from them. But when an Israeli gets killed, the whole world rises up and condemns this action and all of that. So it's the double standards of this international community and the PA as well.
Yes, and also, Sister Rana, with Ramadan a few weeks away, I shudder to think, and also Al-Aqsa is going to be the center of focus once again. And we've seen Ramadan after Ramadan, and the months come, and we see a lot of these atrocities, even in Aqsa. And I'm sure that is another major concern for you and the people of Palestine.
Well, if you look actually on the daily actions that happen, events that happen every day in Al-Aqsa Mosque, we see that the settlers, protected by the Israeli army and police, they storm into the Aqsa Mosque and they harass the worshippers. They attack them. So this has never really stopped, but they tend, to escalate it in Ramadan, to incite people, to retaliate. Our concerns are, yes, that this Ramadan might not be, a safe one, but I know one thing for sure, that the people, whatever they face, that they will try to protect the Aqsa with their blood. Because these settlers are like mobs. I mean, look at what they did last night in Nablus. They burned trees, houses, and cars of the Nablus people living in Nablus. And if you look at the pictures, just like a hell broken loose. And these people, these thugs and mobs, are protected by the Israeli army. They are one and the same. And these settlers are allowed, given permission, accompanied by ministers, to storm into Al-Aqsa and attack the worshippers. So this just proves that this whole government, this whole regime, is a settler colonial regime with a very genocidal mentality. So the people of Palestine will not just sit and watch. I'm sure they will retaliate to protect their places of worship and to practice their right to worship freely in their mosques.
Well, Sister Rana, I must say, Jazakallah to you. We thank you. We appreciate you taking time out and talking to us this morning. Our thoughts, our du'as, our prayers are with the people of Palestine, and as always, our support as well. But for now, we thank you. We appreciate you taking time out. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Wa alaikum salam.
That was Rana Shubair joining us out of Gaza this morning against this brutality that has once again manifested itself by this genocidal, racist apartheid regime called Israel. The time is just gone, 8:55. We're going to go for a break. We'll be back.